Guys, why is a 10-year-old hack and slash game set in the Metal Gear universe the biggest meme of the year so far? I have absolutely no idea, and hopefully Max0r will help us. This is Max0r's incorrect summary of Metal Gear Rising, Part 1.
Metal Gear Rising Revengeance is not a word in the dictionary. It's also one of my favorite games, besides Genshin Impact. Created as a...
Okay, he's actually called out one of my first criticisms is that Revengeance is not an English language word, and it's duplicative, because vengeance by definition is a response to being wronged. I am wronged, therefore I will seek revenge or vengeance. So to revengeance someone, I guess maybe if they seek vengeance on you, then you would in turn seek revenge for their revenge.
Spin-off to the critically acclaimed Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Pirates. We are cast as Raiden, whose resume involves fighting the Illuminati and a bisexual vampire.
Guys, I wanted to thank today's video sponsor, Extra. Extra is the debit card that helps you build your credit, all while earning rewards. My wife and I recently bought a house, and the credit check can be nerve-wracking. A good credit score can save you tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your mortgage. Today, over 100 million Americans don't want or can't get a credit card, but building a credit history without one can be tough. That's where Extra comes in. Extra is the debit card that helps you build out your credit history. It's simple. Users connect Extra to a bank account. Extra spots them for everyday purchases. Then users auto-pay Extra the next business day. And at the end of the month, Extra totals up your purchases and reports them to the credit bureaus. There's no credit checks and no interest. Extra also offers rewards that you can redeem for things from AirPods to gift cards. So sign up for Extra at extra.app/combatveteran or check the link in the description and join the over 125,000 others who are building out their credit history with a debit card. Yes, a debit card. And thanks again to Extra for sponsoring today's video. This is actually completely lore accurate. This is not an exaggeration. Though I don't think Raiden's name is ever specified. No, it's Jack. So it's not John Raiden, it's Jack Raiden.
Trading off slow stealth gameplay and conference calls of an unspecified duration for pulse power.
Yes, oh my gosh, the conference calls. Also, if you want to have a creepily prescient conference call, you should look up some of the codex conversations from the end of Metal Gear Solid 2 Guns of the Patriots, which came out 22 years ago, but predicted the frightening dystopian echo chamber based information economy of the present day. Truly a testament to Kojima's genius.
Pounding action gameplay, unique cutting mechanics, and the stupidest plot of any game since the last one. You know, the one where Headache Kajingles puts his protagonist in a microwave. Now caught in a worldwide conspiracy headed by an evil and destructive empire called the United States. It's a...
I love how Scout is the symbol of all things American. He's just an obnoxious Bostonian who just has no self-awareness.
To us to stop Senator Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson from becoming black, fight cyborg dinosaurs controlled by orphans, and fight a series of extremely online YouTube personas 4, such as Jacked Bezos, the Nintendo Virtual Boy, and Markiplier.
I'm gonna come find you.
Set to the tune of a hardcore rock soundtrack made by the world-famous Toontown Online composer for the express purpose of killing anyone above 40. And to complete our journey, we will have to resort to unrestricted brutality, cutting and slicing our enemies like a human-sized slap chop in between philosophy about the nature of conflict.
Yeah, this is all he's describing are things that are not in any way unique to Metal Gear Rising and are basically pervasive in any game in the Metal Gear Solid franchise. For some reason, they can intersperse gameplay with long missives about the nature of humanity or philosophy, and we all just have agreed to roll with it. It kind of works in a weird way because Kojima is a master of pacing, and this is the ability to intersperse action with more passive sequences in order to give the viewer or the player a sense of continuous engagement without becoming so stressful that they pull away.
Morality of separating.
This is actually way harder to do than you realize, but it's something that every good game is going to do in some way, shape, or form. It's going to give you, the player, time to experience lulls and then highs. And the goal is to not leave you emotionally exhausted so you can have a longer gameplay time, and also not become so dull and dreary that you simply become disengaged.
Families the hard way, and memes. They made Twitter into a plot point. So if any of that interests you, feel free to join me as we dive headlong into the wonderful madness of Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, and the voices now activated.
I mean, this has become an iconic song, so much so that I think it's one of the TF2 SFM animators actually parodied this as Engineer. So weird. Voiced by Chell. I wonder if this is... Wait, Remy? Is Remy in this? Edited by Max0r. Oh god, it's a real... It's an actual...
So we boot up the game, but it doesn't support high resolutions. To fix this, we head to NeoGAF and download a virus. Now I can do any resolution. What amazing gameplay. Our story begins in the 2009 color scheme, with our hero Raiden protecting President Barfsacco Crumbo. He's touring his birthplace of Kenya.
I am President United States Obama.
Mr. President, you have dementia.
Okay. Nothing about this guy's haircut says that he's qualified to protect anyone. But I guess when you're a super alien, I guess when you're a cyborg, you can look however you want.
Mr. President, you have dementia.
Drone strike the wedding.
That can be arranged.
Oh, for those of you that don't know, it's a reference to the fact that the U.S. military would... during primarily operations in Afghanistan, they would... they were also authorized to launch drone strikes in Pakistan. So while troops could not be on the ground in Pakistan, they were authorized to engage with drones. It seems like a strange sort of middle ground, but the Pakistani government was caught between a rock and a hard place because such a large portion of their electorate hated the U.S. military, but Pakistan itself needed the U.S. as an ally and as a check against their rivals like Iran and India, which is also kind of U.S. ally, so that's sort of bizarre. But Pakistan needed the U.S. but couldn't get too close, and so as a middle ground to having U.S. troops in their country, they said, fine, you can only launch drone strikes. The result meant that the U.S. struggled a lot in target identification and target acquisition. It also meant that when they would identify high-value targets, their only ability to engage them was with these drones, in Pakistan anyway. But because the Taliban and the Haqqani network kept most of their leadership safely in Pakistan, right, where they would command the fight from a safe location, it meant that the U.S. had to make their best call in terms of taking them out, but their only tool available to them was drone strikes. So if a number of leaders of a network would gather together in a place, they would view that as an opportunity to try to take those individuals out. The problem is that if you have a bunch of high-value people gathering together who wouldn't normally risk it, it's usually because it's a pretty big deal, and culturally that is weddings and funerals. It's probably the universal human experience. That meant that the U.S. military oftentimes would bomb these meetings when they were really weddings, and whether or not they actually had the desired effect, it's not clear. It's not clear that the U.S. knew they were weddings, or if they thought they were, for example, some sort of high-level planning meeting where people just sort of brought their families. It's not at all clear. I think the U.S. probably knew these were weddings and chose to launch drone strikes anyway. But it's not great PR, and it's not clear that it's morally right. It's just, yeah, that I'm not sure about. You're a combatant, but you're not really in a combatant area, but you keep your family around. It's just something very different.
What the fuck was that? Insurance fraud. Why, hello there. Would you care to see my RGB lighting? I spent $3,000. Sir, this is a Wendy's. Oh. I'll just have to give you a demonstration then.
All right, so it looks like that guy who just got sliced in half was shooting. Let's break it down. He was shooting a 50 cal, right? Obviously, in Metal Gear Solid lore, a 50 cal is the equivalent of an airsoft gun.
Oh shit, he's got RGBs. Let's get the fuck out. I guess you could say he's half the man he once was.
My name is Obama. I have shit my doo-doo ass.
Don't worry, Obama. I'll protect you from this sidewalk. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the first enemy in the game. Now, he's the first 100 enemies in the game. This is the standout feature of Metal Gear Rising. The ability to cut anything, and I do mean anything. Nature, humans, telepathic traffic poles, a family of 4, and even...
Gotta love these interactive environments, right? Slicing them to pieces with your super sword.
staircases that are required to progress the game. I think that's an oversight. This was groundbreaking stuff for the PS3. Use it to hit weak points, confuse your enemies and prevent them from attacking, or accelerate deforestation.
Okay, can you really do this with a knife? No, probably not. You're gonna wear out the blades, even of the hardest material that we can get, right? No matter how sharp something is, you're still going to wear it down. And to maintain that level of sharpness, right, there's going to be some level of attrition on the blade. That means that just like if you've ever seen a knife that's been sharpened again and again and again, you realize it gets worn down over time. Resharpening that knife requires removing material, not adding material. And so over time, that knife will get narrower and narrower and narrower and require replacement. That's why when you see some of those high-end samurai swords, even ones that are several hundred years old, they're decorative. They were never used in combat, right? They might have been used occasionally to demonstrate their sharpness, for example. But if it was a real sword used in combat, there's a good chance that it would have gotten worn down and sharpened and resharpened again and again.
What are you doing, Raiden?
Most animals deserve to be extinct. Where the fuck is Raiden? Hang on, I think I'm hearing boss music. My game crashed. I'm just gonna run past everyone.
Joe Biden, please help me pass the healthcare. Healthcare, you say? I'm a specialist. A new customer.
All right, the fact that the president is protected all by cyborg ninjas is pretty hilarious.
We're gonna be talking about the...
Let's hope Obamacare covers euthanasia.
Damn, those death panels are serious. I get why the Republicans were so upset about them. Man, they were gonna do that to Grandma.
My name is Obama. Shut up.
Actually, okay, guys, here's the thing with the most expensive, okay, you got to understand the healthcare system in the US, right? It's an expensive system, extremely. And one of the biggest problems that it faces is that for most human beings, most people in America, the most expensive, at something like 85 to 90% of your lifetime healthcare expenditures are going to come in the last 30 days of your life. And the truth is that a lot of times these are in response to events that are not going to improve your quality of life. They are not going to improve your length of life. They are just sort of done, right? It's just sort of like, hey, you have very advanced cancer, and at some point you're going to have your kidneys fail. And yes, they can hook you up to a high intervention like dialysis machine, just like some of these COVID patients who have severe lung damage. Most of the time, physicians know within, when you are not going to last 30 days, right? But they can't sit there and be like, listen, this person isn't going to last 30 days. And we're going to do all these interventions. We're going to hook them up to these very expensive machines and do all this constant monitoring. And all of it doesn't really achieve any better outcome because the person isn't going to get better. And so there has to be, at some point, a point in these systems where you sit there and go, no, this person needs to transition to what's called hospice. Hospice is the term for when a person is no longer expected to recover. They're within the last 6 months of their life. And the idea is that the priority becomes death with a level of dignity and death with a level of mitigating suffering, making it as least painful as possible. So oftentimes they are able to prescribe medications like pain medications in doses and at a frequency that will almost certainly get the patient addicted, right? But it doesn't matter because, again, you're in the last 6 months of your life. So there just has to be a better protocol for deciding when someone is ill with no possibility of recovery and stopping at some point unnecessary medical procedures that won't advance, which won't make them any better, but will just leave them to live an extra, we're talking few hours, intubated or with tubes running out of every single hole they have and a bunch of new holes that they've installed, right? Something that I think most of us can agree we don't want our last days on Earth to entail. But the other problem is, and I've talked about this in other videos, if you don't write it down, if you don't have your aging parents or aging grandparents write down their wishes while they're still of sound mind, the default is to do every single thing possible to prolong life. So if 87-year-old grandma is no longer breathing, unless someone says, hey, it's grandma's time, right? She's really sick. I think it's time for her to go. Unless someone's able to say, hey, no more interventions, right? They're going to keep doing stuff. They're going to keep intubating and oxygenating and pulling out her blood and running it back through machines, right? And it's not something any of us, I think, want in our last days, but you have to write it down and spell it out. Say, you can intervene at this point and no further. And if you don't write these things down, you run the risk of a very painful, very expensive for your family, end of life that will be worse than if you were just able to go out with a little dignity. But getting your head chopped off by Sawman, actually I'd put it like in the middle. There's some pretty awful, painful interventions. And at least this dude is quick.
Stop right there. Put down President Bumcrack Osama.
I'll put him down, all right. But no, I have a giant robot.
Federal agent spotted initiating.
Why didn't I see that? Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the tutorial boss. We're currently undergoing a learning experience, the one you can only get with a giant laser. This is maybe the best game ever made. And although the gameplay is a little simple, the sheer scale makes me feel both empowered and quite intimidated. It's just a wonderful way to do it when you don't look like a cracked up rooster. Of course, there's no need to worry, because Raiden is fucking jacked.
The funds for the test of this scene went to Metal Gear Survive.
Mission accomplished. So Raiden runs all the way to a locomotive to confront Dimes for Crimes, led by none other than Buff Bezos.
Mitch McConnell, please transfer. Why do our politicians hog all the good missiles?
Obama!
Your prime has expired, Raiden, and so has his life.
Nice.
Damn, that dude just stabbed the president in the chest.
It's time for the next boss fight. I say that sarcastically because most people would classify it as a fucking suicide. I'm surprised this is on the train instead of in front of it. Face it, Jack, you can't even hold a sword. What the fuck is a sword? I could give you a demonstration, but first, what's your favorite hand? Well, my left. Great. I'm about to level up, Jack, and you look like...
There is something in the Metal Gear Solid that... Okay, so in the franchise, there's some things that just keep appearing, keep happening to people. And it's some sort of like, I don't know, like the karmic cycle closing or whatever. And it's... losing an arm is just like a thing that keeps happening to people. It's really strange. It's dismemberment, I think. And is that right? Because degloving is removing the skin. An avulsion is a really unclean amputation. An amputation is any part that gets removed. But no, dismemberment's something else. Anyway, let me know in the comments what the exact term for losing an arm is. The point is, it happens to a lot of characters. It happened to not Otacon in Metal Gear Solid 5. Obviously, Revolver Ocelot loses an arm. Liquid doesn't have an arm, loses an arm, or becomes an arm, depending on your perspective.
Just enough XP. Oh fuck, he's using bullets.
Need a hand, Raiden. Also, who am I?
So long,
I'll be back for you, bitch. So at least 2 minutes pass, and Raiden is traversing the vacuum of space on his way to the... Colonel, I'm trying to fly around, but the clap of my ass cheeks keeps...
Okay, what that is depicting probably is actually looks very similar to a Global Hawk. Global Hawk is a stealth drone that is sort of public knowledge. I think at this point it really is, but it is meant to be an extremely long-range reconnaissance drone, and it can, loiter for really long periods of time, has a really high-end camera, but obviously this looks like a Metal Gear Solidified version of it, so much larger, but still a fully automated and pilotless.
To fly around, but the clap of my ass cheeks keeps alerting. Raiden, I'm playing Genshin Impact, but I've run out of credit card debt to purchase Ganyu. So if you can you lend me a hand? I will surely stop collecting them.
You have a problem.
So after the roughest plane ride since Delta, we head to a third world shithole known as Russia to find the men who killed President Bumsack of Chungus and put an end to their illegal razor blade factory. Wait a second, where's the runway? Finally equipped with his new customizable gamer mouse body, Raiden begins his...
I mean, he basically does look like every single Razer gamer thing. Oh God, I'm sorry, I had the quality way down. Apologies, but that's all right. You guys aren't here to watch a high quality video. If you want, there's the link right down in the description. Yeah, he looks exactly like a game
journey
mouse.
By encountering 3 helpless victims, knocking them to the air and scooping out their spines like fucking ice cream. You see, this is actually our primary method of healing, since every spine is filled to the brim with delicious electrolytes. This is the actual term used in the game. Just like American football, the soldiers of the future are fueled by Gatorade. We, however, are fueled by violence. Oh, hang on one second, I've got a call.
You should kill yourself now!
So anyways, we head to the streets to get acquainted with the stealth, but unfortunately for the populace, it's completely optional. So instead, we decide to fight the foot fetish tank, and let me tell
all foot all the time, baby. Yeah, so this is one of the things that's really interesting to me about modern warfare generally, is that modern warfare, because of technological enablers, strongly favors fewer high-skill soldiers. I say soldiers as a catch-all for any uniformed fighting people. Soldiers, because the ability to operate and think this technology gives an individual soldier so much more power than a soldier of the past. And an example, there was I think it was like a viral Reddit thread or something, but somebody compared basically his notes in basic training to his grandfather's who had went into Vietnam. And his grandfather was shocked at the level of knowledge they gave a basic private. And to us, these are things that we just expect. I expected a basic private to be able to use a radio properly, to be able to call in a medevac helicopter, to be able to talk in a very basic way with an aircraft. I would expect them to be able to assess and treat a casualty using basic life-saving techniques. I would expect them to be able to plot a point on a grid and at least broadly navigate in the direction they were headed. These are all seemingly basic skills, but they were far and away more than you would give a private in Vietnam who was focused on engaging targets with their individual weapon and probably like moving under fire, right? Crawl, army crawl, 3 to 5 second rush, high crawl, low crawl type deal. So all this to say, the bias towards high skill soldiers, right? And that's a private. You can imagine what you expect from your NCOs, your squad leaders, and your specialists, right? Your specialty drone pilots, your specialty, medics, even high-end equipment operators, right? Tank commanders and Patriot missile battery operators. all of these skill sets, right, they favor super, super highly engaged soldiers because otherwise the technology just isn't that valuable, right? If you cannot understand how to implement it. Again, if you give every soldier a radio and soldiers just use it to bullshit and crowd up the net, then you've actually made your operations less efficient by giving everyone a radio. It's only if you give everyone a radio and the proper training and discipline to use it properly do you confer an actual technological advantage. This is the same with if you have a tank. If you have a tank with a bunch of gee-whiz features, and the Russians are finding this out, right? These tanks have all this new sort of modernized equipment, but your privates don't know how to use, say, the thermal sights, or how to use the proper rounds, or even just how to maneuver in a tank formation and respond to contact. Right? These are skills that you need that 3-member tank crew to have down pat, but they don't appear to have it. There appears to be a lot of panicking and a lot of fleeing. Even your logisticians, your logistics troops don't seem to be able to get supplies and overcome the routine sort of friction of war. They can't make these individual decisions because, frankly, they're just not well trained enough.
Tell you, this enemy is real fun to kill, especially considering their...
So all this to say is I don't think it's unrealistic to sit there and go, okay, the typical soldier guarding an entire city block might be 5 super soldiers in the future. That would be a logical extrapolation of current trends.
Fucking jumps.
Especially if those soldiers have powerful enablers at their disposal. I mean, these giant robots, right, are tremendously powerful. If we remember from the first game, right, there's dual mounted 50 cals and an incredible amount of mobility. So if you are talking about a squad of, say, 6 of these super soldiers with their armor and the ability to call on even more powerful backup, you need a lot of training to be able to field this effectively. But if you have six of the right people and the right technology behind them, that's all you need.
Fucking jump speed. Man, there really is no time between these cutscenes.
Oh, fuck. Known sex offender spotted. What the dog doing now?
What the fuck is a dog?
You are such a fucking Philistine, Raiden.
Wait, how do you know my name?
I am pre-programmed with knowledge of everyone.
Oh, yeah? Yeah?
Yes.
Who's your owner then, little dog?
The NSA, but my handler is a white woman.
Damn, that's rough.
I will never eat peanut butter ever again.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. Well, guys, if you've ever lived in Washington, D.C., you know government bureaucrats, especially high-level ones, they love their dogs. They love those dogs. So it doesn't shock me at all that the NSA would have Superdog as their field agent or whatever.
For our next battle, we have Blade Wolf. Jesus. And let me say, if you don't know how to parry more than one attack, it's time to learn. I don't know what attack this is. Fortunately, Blade Wolf will stop yiffing and call in Meals on Wheels, which allows us to partake of the Gatorade Eucharist. Now with the power of Jesus in our veins, we donate Blade Wolf to a kill shelter, and then he monologues.
You're gonna stay on my dick until you die.
Somehow, I've arrived at the Bitcoin factory.
I've been moderating your Twitch for months, and you never told me you had a boyfriend.
Who are you?
Oh my god, she spoke to me.
Jesus fucking Christ. Raiden, watch out. That woman is live on Twitch. Now sufficiently
That woman's live on Twitch. Twitch thought the Bitcoin
disturbed.
factory.
Raiden moves on to the best level in the game using my favorite mechanics. Inconvenient fencing, handy enemies with cool controls, and you better believe there's some bad stealth. It even has cameras with 0-degree vision. Just don't just step into the lasers.
Are you okay?
Yeah, the lasers, they always get you.
Oh my god,
I mean, here's one of the things that I actually find the least realistic in games is that alerts are immediately followed by the deployment of security. I'm here to tell you I've never seen a secure system that wasn't plagued by false alerts where there's at least some sort of step between look at the problem and send armed guards. Usually it's like, hey, we've got an alert here at this facility. Okay, did you see anything on the cameras? No, it's probably just nothing, right? That's a third. Another third of the time they go, okay, fine, we'll dispatch one of our roving patrols. And it's like 35 minutes later, the roving patrol gets there.
So, woman, please stop that.
I've been waiting for you, Raiden. Shout out to Big Chungus29 for the donation.
Please stay back.
Sorry, Jack, but my stream demands you die.
God, I wish that was me.
That can be arranged.
Welcome to the world's first boss fight, where the battle is against your own controller, provided, of course, that I don't throw that shit against a wall. In this confrontation, we fight the dark-skinned tomboy GF that I've always dreamed of.
Is it even a Max0r video without like 50 anime girls? Of course not.
Juggling and slaughtering several varieties of jihadist Bakugan. If I were forced to describe the experience, it would be Poggers or perhaps Pepega, especially after Raiden achieves the miracle of flight, when you fire the animators. But despite some of the occasional frustration, this battle is one of the best. Plus, I like it when women hit me.
Well, I appreciate his honesty. Max0r, you know, I appreciate that Max0r just is like dives deep into his own status as a complete degenerate. This is clearly someone who never even noticed that there was a pandemic because he never left the house anyway. Because obviously everything he needs, including love and affection, he could receive from hentai.
Yeah, that's some cool theme music, bitch.
Yes! That was cool!
Your purpose in life is to be in my stream sucking on my dick daily.
I see.
My stream! It's Call of Line! You are truly weird, champ!
Is that a bad thing?
You make me want to kill myself faster, but no.
You gotta be careful with that. You can't say that stuff on stream, man. It's against terms of service. Also, you just shouldn't. If you feel that way, you should talk to somebody. You know what's really interesting though is that actually one of the best treatments that is clinical evidence is actually very strong for what they call acute suicidal ideation. So you know, within like 12 to 24 hours of someone communicating, hey, I want to hurt myself, is ketamine. Not making this up. If you pump someone full of ketamine, you being a doctor. Okay, this doesn't mean you buy ketamine and give it to your roommate whenever he's got a case of the SADS. Okay, no, a doctor has to administer the ketamine. But if they do, it's actually shown tremendous hope in preventing suicidal ideations, which is interesting because you know you know, most people agree that suicidal ideation, suicidal thoughts, they're temporary, right? People don't want to pursue them in a long-term sort of way. There's some debate over whether things like medical euthanasia, again, where people maybe have full clarity and making a rational decision to like, you know, and end their own lives early, like they don't want to experience diminished quality of life or have the sort of long-term pain. And that's different from, you know, an 18 to 30-year-old man, though the most common category of people committing suicide is actually white men in their 50s, basically. You know, that's considered those types of that population group. It's bad, right? Suicide bad. But the point is, pump them full of ketamine in the hospital, and it's shown to lift the desire to die in an acute way. It's not a substitute for therapy, right? It's not a substitute for long-term support, but it can reduce the risk in the short term. And if you can't reduce the risk in the short term, then you can't really get to the medium and long term.
No matter. With my death, you will never find our secret base at 29th Avenue, Mexico City.
What the fuck?
These are the coordinates.
Wow, he was really, really worked up about that e-thought.
God damn, I'm turned on.
Raiden, we need to pick you up. What's your location?
I'm in a Chinese factory. Now equipped with a solid lead for his Metal Gear Rising Revengeance 2013 video game, it's up to Sonic the Hedgehog to make his way to the city of Mexico, complete with his 50 pounds of smuggled cocaine and a stolen Mercedes. Raiden, are you wearing a sombrero? It's my disguise. I'm trying to blend in. You are trying to give me a fucking brain aneurysm.
Your destination is on the right.
What? He has... Okay. I really hope he's not actually wearing a sombrero, guys. First off, I am going to express what you guys should hear. If you haven't... I can't speak to the larger country of Mexico. I haven't been to a lot of it. But, you know, follow your country's guidelines on where you're visiting. But Mexico City is fucking awesome. It is the best city in North America because it is so nice, so much cool shopping, and like it hasn't become overrun with tourists, and it's not overrun with like chain restaurants and like, you know, a Starbucks on every corner the way basically every other city in North America is. It's like the last one where you can go and you can have like a mom and pop like churro stand, and you can have like a lady on the street who sells tortas, and like it's good, you know? You just gotta go where the locals go is my only advice. If no one is at a restaurant, it's probably because, or if there's only tourists at a place, you should probably not be there. You know, the only time I've gotten like pretty sick in Mexico City, or my wife got pretty sick, is because we went to a place and we're like, huh, man, there's only tourists eating here. Dunzo, right? Locals, fine. Which leads to some creepy outcomes because you're like, this torta place looks good, but let's wait a sec. And then you wait for like 15 minutes and you're like, oh, okay, here's a woman buying food for her kids. This is definitely safe. But other than that, Mexico City is awesome. It's just awesome. There's so much cool, weird stuff. And it's a pleasure. It really is. Oh my God, he's actually wearing a sombrero and that. And no one dresses like that. Every time I've been there, they dress like regular, normal people. Though sometimes they treat like relatively brisk temperatures like it's the coldest thing to ever happen. It's in like the 70s and people are in like their full winter jackets. Oh my God.
Now it's time for Raiden and his small pit bull to make their decision.
Okay, well, I appreciate that the actual norteños, so I don't think this is in Mexico City, right? Because that sort of cowboy jeans look, I want to say is common to like northern Mexican, like people from what, like Jalisco and stuff in Tamaulipas, I think. Again, if you're from Mexico, man, just let me know. Help me out. I'm trying my best.
Into Fallout 3. Hey, what's up, gamers? Max0r here, and today we're gonna be questioning why Blade Wolf is packing an entire bakery. Better keep playing the game to bleach my eyes. What's up, gamers? It's Max0r here, and today we are being beat to death by a gorilla. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It's a little weird to me that we're having more trouble with Harambe than a giant robot. Raiden opens him up like a Pokemon fan after ripping out his organs. Thank God that's the only enemy, otherwise I'd have problems. Oh my God, it's a Smash tournament. I have to stop it. Oh good, new enemies. I was just about to...
Oh man. Yeah, why would you deploy all these extremely high-end combat robots to a random city in Mexico, and why would you have them terrorize civilians for no reason? Okay, I gotta say, for advanced AI, sometimes I am shocked at how dumb it's depicted in video games. Like, advanced AI is gonna know that you don't need to eat a kid.
To run out of those. Okay, but seriously, this enemy doesn't want to hit me. It's all right. I don't have a Twitter account.
You speak English?
What the fuck is he saying? Can you repeat that? Listen, I don't know what a McDonald's does. After abandoning a child to his death, we're finally able to...
In the sewer.
...play the rest of the level. Raiden equipped...
I love how... Okay. Raiden's entire body is cybernetic. His brain itself is receiving direct feeds about everything happening to him. And yet, they didn't upload the Spanish language pack. My phone can do that. I can have someone talk into my phone in Chinese and it'll spit out a translation in real time. All right. But Raiden, the man with a sword so sharp that it cuts through other swords that are sharp, and also a giant robot, doesn't have the Spanish language mod.
It's a cardboard box once used in a famous, well-known video game series called Smash Brothers.
That's Wario, Snake. He also attacks by farting.
Now you too can remain undiscovered in any public park. Oh, fuck. Let's just move on. Now finished with the ape exhibit, we're finally free to explore the secret base entirely without suspicion.
Well, you see, here's the thing. Okay, when you're talking about defending a facility, it's not a secret if you have guards outside of it. This is the equivalent of saying our top secret facility is disguised as a McDonald's, but you have like the 3rd Armored Cavalry Regiment parked with all their vehicles outside of it. Okay? You're going to know that's not a McDonald's. What you want to do is have your kinetic guards inside the McDonald's so that the outside looks like a regular McDonald's. You have to have a plan, a complete security protocol, not just random ones stacked on top of each other.
2 minutes. In that time, it's up to Raiden to escort an entire congregation to meet God. Stealth is of course optional, but so is my mercy. Now heading to the confessional, Raiden finds something that he was never supposed to see.
Hi, it's Fitz with Slap Chop. Slap your trouble boy. Slap your big chop on stage. What are you doing?
I'm gonna leave this game for a while, play some good old Gary's mod. We get a call from Boris Johnson, and he tells us that the baddies are keeping the brains of children in Futurama jars, piloting the various zoo exhibits we fought on our journey. And to figure out why, we sneak in using a wasted game mode. This lasts an entire minute, if you don't walk past everyone. Using some proprietary software, we assume the role of the US government and spy on the bad guys' webcams before selling them crack. Their evil and dastardly plan is to restart the war economy by fueling conflict in Syria and Donbass, then making a gigantic profit by selling weaponized Baby Shark to the military. But instead of selling a Boston Dynamics dog like normal people, they figured the best way to create a robot army was to consult Mr. Epstein. So with our next target identified...
Yeah, okay, would this actually work? No, you can't have kids be soldiers. We talked about this. An AI would be good. A AI with partial human augmentation would also be good. Really, probably your best bet would be just to have, you would just want a human being doing this piloting. The problem is that you run into is that in order to have remote communications, where these remote signals, you have to ensure that they're secure. And in places like Syria and Donbass and Crimea, and boy howdy is he embarrassed that he didn't call this, but in apparently Ukraine, Yemen is another good example of a conflict zone. In these places, the war isn't at a large enough scale to have things like satellites be jammed or taken out. But if you were to fight a near peer like China or Russia, then you would actually have a potential liability. You may actually not be able to communicate with these drones in real time. The drones could be hacked. Signal fidelity is really important. And it's actually one of the things that I think is a problem of having drones in the first place, is that underground, the signal will really get degraded, right? Just like any other SATCOM radio, you have to have access to the big sky in order to talk to the satellites up there. So again, you can't really have this remote piloting. And as discussed, if the brains of, maybe they mean the brains of children are installed into the bodies, I'm not sure, but you really do need it's a liability when you create that signal risk.
We advance further until we find the giant robot, and if this hallway has anything to say about it, we're in for a fun boss fight. Raiden endures 8 hours of being stunned before playing his reverse Uno card and trapping it in a corner for 2 minutes, dicing up his armor and clapping him faster than that family on the highway in my Ford Mustang.
Damn.
Worry, he's a basic enemy in the next mission. Oh my god, I can't possibly cut through glass. Stop right there, Raiden, or I'll blow this child. Who is that? His head. I'll blow his head open. Oh, wait, are you for real? I don't have time for this conversation. Children are in danger. Do you know what a gun does? What's a gun? So at least 9 seconds happen and Raiden Side is driving to hell, all the while taking his eyes off.
Why is he driving? It's super AI.
Off the road with some CNN. Oh sweet, my programming is on.
Super Idol di Charo, donate.
You know, America isn't so bad after all. After being in Mexico for so long, I'm starting to miss how peaceful it can be, especially the police. Raiden evades the...
Why is a super soldier cyborg Raiden driving a car? Honestly, this really bothers me on a number of levels. One, he shouldn't look like super soldier Raiden. He should look like regular guy Raiden. Two, he shouldn't be driving a car. The AI should be driving the stupid car. Three, if he wants to not be able to be hacked by the secret Illuminati, then he should be driving a car from like the 90s before they put chips in literally everything.
Evil forces a big sobriety as they attempt to suppress another innocent drunk driver, careening through the nightmare known as Denver before encountering the police budget. Skip it up and showing off his toned legs.
Wait a second, boys. He's white.
I'm sorry, officer. I was just so busy playing League of Legends.
All right, I've heard enough. Deadly force authorized.
Oh, fuck. We are now forced to fight the hypothetical dystopian scenario where the government and police are influenced by corporations, specifically the corporation that we've come to volunteer for blood donations. Although Joe Raiden seems to be fighting their army of interns because most of them use a stick. Besides, of course, the military-grade Roombas. Raiden heads...
Yeah, I love how this is supposed to be a parody, but no, there is a shocking level of unnecessary military equipment that law enforcement has. I look always at the love of their M4s. And if you're a SWAT team, an M4 is the worst possible weapon. And that's because most of the time you're kicking down doors in houses, in housing developments, which means that basically you don't want to shoot anything that's not within that person's yard. You don't want to shoot anything that's not in the room. So pumping 5.56 rounds into a potential target, those things pass through. They'll pass through the entire house and into the neighbor's house. But unlike a combat zone, right, in which, you know, like Vietnam, when the 5.56 round was, the conflict the 5.56 round was designed for, in Vietnam, right, if you didn't hit the NVA, the round just went into the jungle because it's a jungle, or into the grasslands, right? There's a lot of distance. You're not fighting house to house. When you are fighting house to house, you hope that civilians have the good sense to get out of there. But in a law enforcement operation, civilians are everywhere and they are close by. And there's a lot of property and people you don't want to hurt and destroy. So you don't want a round that's going to continue for up to 3,000 meters through houses and civilians and vehicles. It's too dangerous. You want a round that's going to travel a lot less. That's why the fact that they don't use things like submachine guns and MP5s is always just totally boggling to me. Or shotguns. Shotgun slugs also have just a lower travel range.
Into an office through the
And I understand that in this day and age, people have body armor, but if they have body armor, then it'll still stop a 5.56 round, just like it'll stop a slug.
Of an officer, and inside the biggest elevator ever made. We take it down the hard way. Also, they forgot to limit my turn speed. There's even a subway section with this cool new enemy that I've never seen before. I don't think anything can ruin this. What's up, gamers? God damn it. Let me tell you something important, Raiden. You're a normie and a beta male cuck. I'm only here to dispense justice. That's cringe, Jack, and your setup is weak. You can't even project yourself onto a building or a billboard. Your clout doesn't mean anything. It's worthless. Cope and...
No, not my clout.
Seethe, Jack. Why don't you go back to Facebook and post some minion memes? No, that's not the point. Do you see now? All this murder and you still aren't based. You bastard. Shut the fuck up and listen for a moment. Oh my god, it's the cringe Nene baby. Stop right there. What the fuck is wrong with his hair? What are you doing? He looks like Sonic impregnated a vending machine. No, stop.
Why is he going toe to toe with a
he even has a fake chin. Do You see now, Jack. How can a cringe lord like you ever hope to kill my police officer?
We're gonna be talking about the...
No fuck. So after chopping the authorities so fast that their bodies are steaming, Raiden gains a brain hemorrhage from watching my editing, which affects his movement slightly. Now emotionally compromised, we head through the mandatory stealth section. You know, eventually. How pleased you
Mandatory stealth section.
are to chop away, Jack the Ripper. You could say that I'm a big fan of what? My name is Monsoon of the Sussy Imposters. What the fuck? Emergency meeting. Please stop. No.
Oh man, this is maybe the cringiest looking enemy so far.
There's something genuinely wrong with you. It's just a little trolling, Jack. You're in the land of the free after all. And your idea of freedom is enslaving children. Do you know what the Civil War was? It's cringe or be cringe, Jack. Soon you'll understand. Free will is a myth. Religion is a joke. We're all pawns controlled by something greater. Memes, the DNA of the soul. They are our culture, our clout. How about full of shit? Is that a meme? No, it fucking isn't, you amoeba. You'll never be based with memes like that. You're right about...
I mean, here's the thing that's scary is, again, you got to think this came out in, what, 2013? We hadn't yet memed a man to the White House. We hadn't yet had the Twitter president. We hadn't yet even had the Ukraine war memes coming out straight from the war zone itself, right? We hadn't had TikToks of dead Russian soldiers. And so this idea that you can... The idea that this is stupid and cringe, and like, yeah, I get it. It's Kojima dialogue and it's a little cringe, but it's not wrong. You notice how easily people are worked up into a frightening level of what's the word I want? A frightening level of mobilization, we'll say. A frighteningly strong emotional state in response to what are sort of sometimes manufactured crises, right? Like, at the end of the day, Putin's invasion of Ukraine, while horrific and a violation of international norms, is not fundamentally different from his 2008 invasion of Georgia, in which the international community largely shrugged its shoulders. And I think this is important to note, that the difference is that in today's day and age, people are primed to get really, 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 really worked up over what they see on the news. The invasion of Ukraine, again, while horrific, is not the same thing as the frightening levels of ethnic cleansing that we saw in Bosnia and Kosovo in the 90s. But again, there was very little desire for intervention into these. And so all of this, to me, is saying that yes, there is something to be said for the fact that you can meme behavior, you can meme people's emotional states, and you can induce these behaviors. And it's pretty worrying that it's possible, because every time you do it, every time you create a mass mobilization across the West, you learn more about, or across the, like, a certain, like, English language speaking world, we'll say. You get better at it. And can you do it to a non-event? I think you can. And that's worrying, that you could get people worked up and blind to reality or nuance or subtlety, and put them in a really heightened emotional state using just memes, compelling video, and just constant, non-stop barraging them with the same messaging to the exclusion of everything else.
Me, I mean, what? I thought I could be just like you, but that is a mistake. Perhaps I am cringe, but that makes me free. That's sus. Doctor, turn off my cringe inhibitors. But Raiden, you'll lose subscribers. Do it. Okay. I was fucking joking. Why did you do it? You think you can just log off, Jack? I'm starting to see what you're getting at. And if based means what I think it means, then caring about your shitty posts is a long way off. That's rich coming from the likes of you. Family Guy funny moment. In this boss fight against the Monsoon battle bus, Raiden rages against the moral degeneracy of violence in movies and sex on TV, using his good old-fashioned values upon which he used to rely. During which we are subjected to an onslaught of attacks at average speed before a Cheeto, demanding the absolute most of the player to survive the human spaghetti. So if you thought Blade Wolf was a real fun boss to parry, then I've got news for you. We've got more edge in this fight than Bloodborne on the PlayStation 1. Monsoon can fucking teleport. He throws helicopters for fun, and his preferred method of dodging is self-bisection. He knows he...
Yeah, this is just bananas.
He's 3 edges away from being a Sonic OC, and you know what? I fucking dig it.
I mean, I think Kojima, you're like, okay, so if you've played enough Metal Gear Solid, you know that Kojima relies on campiness. He relies on cringe, he relies on what you'd call cringe shit to make his point. And it's a meta point, right? He uses... So Metal Gear Solid 3 uses a ton of 60s spy movie tropes, right? In addition to using his own Metal Gear Solid tropes. But what I think makes it so important is that he uses this, it's supposed to feel really familiar. A spy novel, a femme fatale, an eccentric team put together to stop a great evil. These are all really typical tropes, and the fact that Kojima wants you to focus on all the ways in which he inverts it, right? He wants you to see these things for the absurdity that they are, and so he wants you, if you do it right, I think, what he wants you to do is look and say, hey, here are these things that are typical, stereotypical tropes, and I'm going to turn them on their head, right? So instead of James Bond playing the femme fatale against herself, Snake gets played at the end, right? Snake is the person who is the himbo who gets manipulated by the actual skilled spy, right? And I think all this is a really, really good perspective, right? It's a good way to emphasize the ways in which these sort of memes, these sort of campy tropes, impose or send like moral values on us, right? Because like if you have a movie in which you gather an eccentric team who has to do something against all odds, you default to the fact that they're the good guys and the big bad is the big institution, not realizing that there's absolutely no reason that that should be the case, right? Same with there's no reason that James Bond should be smarter than the femme fatales he interacts with. They should be just as likely to play him as he plays them, or they should all get played, right? All of these tropes being inverted is really, really important to Kojima's message. So the fact that you have this like anime cringe boss is the point. It has to be an anime cringe boss because it has to let us focus on what makes him different from your typical anime nonsense.
Hey Jack, ever been to the Washington Monument?
Thank you. I spent 4 days editing that. Now excuse me as I take this call.
The memes.
You are decapitated. Don't worry, it's just a little trolling, right?
Do not repost my memes back at me.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that, because your memes end here.
Remy as Boris. This is great. This is actually good stuff, man. I should play Metal Gear Revengeance. Anyway, guys, I hope you learned something about this. I hope I gave you a little bit of additional perspective on how to interpret some of this stuff from guys like Kojima. It's right on my screen still. Yeah, and I think this is actually a game. So Kojima did approve Metal Gear Solid Revengeance's plot points and plot lines. So I think it's fair to view this as a game that is not in design, but in messaging a Kojima game. And I think it has a lot of potential. I'm excited for part 2, and you guys let me know if you want me to hit it. Do part 2. And also, I would be remiss to say, if you want access to some exclusive content, you want to check out the Patreon. Thanks to our Lieutenant tier patrons, Cole Foster, Command Unit, Caffeinated, Jakob Flavius, Chris, Dr. Shadowcop, Portal World Time, Brandon Armitage, Tel Ruin, and Astro Hunter. you guys get access to exclusive rooms on the Discord and some input into my daily video or my Patreon exclusive video topics. All right, guys, thanks so much, and I will see you in the next one.